Afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Kickback. As I do every episode, I like to leave this disclaimer that says, if you're going to be racist, we do not want you on our platform whatsoever. So if you got a racist bone in your body, please keep it to yourself. We don't want it here at the Kickback. So if that's your intentions is to be racist, please stay away from this. Tonight is Topic Tuesday, and as of every Tuesday, we always have some ordinary people that are doing some extraordinary things in the building. Tonight, we have the honor of having two extraordinary gentlemen in the building two ordinary gentlemen that do extraordinary things. Dave, how are you doing, my brother?
We are doing wonderful, my brother. How was your day today?
Man, as per usual, it was wonderful. I just wish that the hawk would go south for the winter. Right. I wish, but I just heard on the news that the South is about to get a snowstorm, and it's a possibility that Florida may be getting snow.
Oh, it's not a possibility. Pensacola got 6 inches right now. There's a spot in Louisiana. Lafayette, Louisiana's got 10 inches. Houston's got snow. New Orleans is covered with snow. Biloxi's got snow. I mean, the Gulf Coast is white for the first time in a long time.
What's going on with this world?
God is in control.
Yes. Control. Totally. I totally agree that God is in control. But, when was the last time I-10? Let's call it I-10. When was the last time I-10 below, we're going to call it the deep south, I-10. When was the last time they had snow?
Yeah, it's been a long time. Probably the last time they prayed.
He said probably since the last time they prayed. Hey. Hey, that's pretty funny. Man, but how have you been?
Man, it's been all gravy over here, staying warm, trying not to spend too much time outside the inclement weather.
Hey, I understand. My job, hey, I get out in it early in the mornings, and then I'm on the bus for about 4 hours. And then I'm driving for about an hour and a half and keep my bus pretty warm. Gentlemen, how are you all doing this afternoon? And welcome to the Kickback.
Yes, sir. Hey, how y'all doing?
We're doing wonderful. Okay, so we have two wonderful guests in the building tonight. This is a 2-for-1, and I'm thankful to have both of these brothers here. As we like to do all the time, welcome everyone to the Kickback. I usually tell all my guests this at the beginning. I said it's like a mullet. We're going to get the business out up front, and then we're going to have fun in the back. And what I mean by that is I like to ask my guests a series of questions about their life and different things like that. Nothing too personal, but we're going to dive into your life because this is a place of transparency and vulnerability when it comes to the space of men. And I always tell my audience that we are here interviewing ordinary men doing extraordinary things in their lives. And both of you brothers are doing some extraordinary things, have done and are doing some extraordinary things in your life, because it takes a lot to be in the positions that you all are in this world and understand the anointing that God has put on you all's life.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All righty. So let's start here with what I like to do is I like to get my guests to tell the audience about themselves. Tell them who you are, where you from, where you grew up, what your business is, meaning your occupation, and whatever other things you have going on, whether it's a business, a non-for-profit, a for-profit, whatever it is. I know I said the same thing twice, but whatever it is that you do in this world to make you an extraordinary person. And let's go with Mr. Morrell.
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. I am the dude, the host of the Kickback.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunities to be on your podcast. just to come out and give advice to express myself, and I really appreciate that. So I'm Tony Morrell, born and raised right here in Nashville, Tennessee. I grew up on the east side, out east. I'm 46. I graduated from Stratford High School in 1996. What I do for a living, which I love helping community. I love doing things for people. I am a firefighter. I work for the Nashville Fire Department. I've been with the Nashville Fire Department for 20 years, over a little bit over 20 years. I've been a captain for the Nashville Fire Department for the last 5 years, and I love what I do. A lot of people ask me, why I chose to be a firefighter. The reason I'm a firefighter, I didn't necessarily grow up wanting to be a firefighter. But, I was kind of lost in my own little journey of what we call life. My dad was on the fire department, so I had the chance to actually get on the fire department. So when I did, I just did that truly honest, just to kind of make ends meet, to make money, because I had two young kids trying to be a father, take care of my kids. But when I got on the fire department, I fell in love with it. I loved it. Been with the fire department ever since. There's some really, really good people that work for the fire department. I've learned a lot, but the most important thing to me when people say, why do you like being a fireman? What do you get out of being a fireman? And I always answer this: the job, it humbles me, because I get to see people. I have to see people at their worst, and it lets me know how blessed and truly, truly blessed that I am. So I love helping out the community and being a firefighter.
Wonderful, wonderful. And, you get to see people at their best and their worst. In some instances, you get to see people at their best and their worst. So, yeah, it is very humbling to understand that what God has given you, or what he's, put in your hands, is precious. It's precious, whether it be your kids, your wife, or whatever it may be. Your life is precious. And sometimes people make mistakes or do things to put themselves in positions where they're not treating themselves precious, or the people around them precious. And so that's when you see them. You see them when they've, done something to themselves, or not being safe, or it could have just been an accident.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you. My hat's off to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, because I know that is a hard job, mentally, physically, and emotionally. That is a hard job, and it takes a special kind of person to do that job, and we're not all cut out for that particular space in life.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Fox, come through and introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you got going on.
Yes, sir. My name is Antuan Fox. I was born and raised in East Nashville. Grew up going to the local elementary schools. I graduated from Maplewood High School in 95. I've been working since I was 16. I've learned a lot from, working different jobs. I had some good jobs. I had some bad jobs. I grew up not having my father in my life, so I had to navigate through life as a young man, dealing with stress and depression. That's where I had to, make that choice and build that relationship with God. And I have a nonprofit called Breaking Cycles Foundation. Our mission is to help the inner city community create the path to breaking generational or everyday negative cycles. I have a business called Breaking Cycles Cleaning Services. Our mission is to specialize in detailed cleaning to separate ourselves from mediocre cleaning services. I like to say that, I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for my Heavenly Father, being the leader in my life, showing me the way. Growing up as a young man, I've been through trials and tribulations. I'm not perfect. I'm not better than anybody else. But one thing I do have is confidence in myself and what I can do. That's because I had to have understanding with my relationship with God, and for him to show me the right way and to break cycles in my own life. I'm grateful and thankful for getting to know my siblings, my brother Tony. We grew up on different sides of Gallatin Road. We came to know each other in 2009, and that's where I found out about my other sibling. So I have it's nine of us on my dad's side, and I'm number 7, and I'm just grateful, man. I'm grateful. I understand my purpose. My purpose is to help other people break generational cycles, and I love people. I know it's good and bad in everybody, but I just love people, and I'm here to be a leader, be a mentor. I volunteer for 413 Strong program in which they help young men build structure in their lives. I also volunteer with another nonprofit called Book 'em, in which they provide books for metro school kids, kids in the community. I'm in my school year of going volunteering and going and reading to the kids and providing them book through Book 'em. So
Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead. Finish what you had to say.
I plan on, this year it's going to be better than last year because I plan on, putting more consistency on everything that I do. Uh, that's with volunteering and in my personal life and in my business life.
What I was going to say is this. On Friday, we do freestyle. If you guys don't know, on Fridays, we do a Freestyle Friday, which is we do an open conversation with gentlemen. It's a 2-hour live show where you can come in and we talk about different topics. And the topic that I'm going to present to the panel this Friday is Black family secrets. Let me tell you something about you guys. We are basically all brothers in some form or fashion. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. We probably seen each other and knew each other in some form or fashion because I came out of Maplewood in 97. My first address was 533 South 7th Street. Then we moved to my high school address was 710 Lishi Avenue.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You understand what I'm saying?
We definitely was in the same room, same facility, same area at some point in time.
At some point in time. And here's the thing that makes us brothers. The story that I just heard from you gentlemen is exactly just like my story. My father had 15 or 16 children. I'm from Nashville, born and raised. Went to high school with my sister at Highland Heights. Didn't know she was my sister. Went to Maplewood with my brother and didn't know he was my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So y'all just told my story in the story that you all just told about you all's life.
Yeah.
But it all boils down to the Black family secrets. That's going to be the show on Fridays. But right now we want to get into you two gentlemen and just learn about who you are and your stories and how you both got together. So, I just turned 45. So that's why I said like you said, Mr. Moore, we've been in the same, we've probably been to either East Park, McFern.
Yeah.
I played at Red Shield for Booger Bear.
Yeah.
I played football for Booger Bear at Red Shield.
Cleveland Center.
Cleveland Center. Yeah, I done been to all them places because that's where I grew up at. You know what I'm saying? So over here, Mr. Moore, it says, you are a marathon runner.
Yeah, I run marathons. I probably started running probably about 11, 12 years ago. So it was a guy on the fire department. He's a chief now, Chief Benny Gaskins. He used to ask me he was running before me, so he asked me to run marathons. And I was like, man, I ain't running no marathon. That's crazy, running all the miles like that. But, just like everybody else, man, I went through some things in my life, man. I suffer from depression. You know, I didn't really, just like most Black men, I didn't want to go to counseling. I definitely didn't want to take no medicine or anything. So I was struggling mentally. So I just, after about 4 years of him asking me, I said, yeah, okay, man, I'll run a marathon with you. So of course I had to start training for the marathon. I started running, and man, after 1 or 2 times running, I just fell in love with it. Like, it helped me so much mentally and gave me so much mental clarity, helping me just deal with depression. I've been running ever since. So I was running like 3 marathons before COVID, because I was running the one here in Nashville. I was going to Vegas, running the Vegas marathon. I was going to Disney World, running the Disney World marathon. Then COVID came, so all the marathon kind of got shut down, but they're back up. So I just been running. So I do 2 or 3 marathons every year. So I love it, man. It just helps me mentally. So I
It's
am a
a
marathon runner.
it's a form of therapy. And the thing
Yeah.
is, a lot of people don't understand that therapy comes in so many different forms. What I'm doing right here, yes, it is to help the community. It's to help get stories like you all's out so young men can understand that they're not, because I've learned from a lot of young people that they think what they're going through right now is what's going to be their lives forever. But look at the situation that God has brought you all through and brought you all together. And I'm pretty sure back then, let's call it 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you never thought that you'd be a fire chief.
Right.
And you never
Right.
thought that you'd be running marathons. But that's what I'm saying. This podcasting is my therapy. It's my therapy. It's how I deal with the things that I have. We all have had bouts with depression at some point in our lives, and we have to find an outlet. And I think that's the biggest problem in the Black community, is that we find the wrong things to be our outlets. When it comes to depression and stress and the things that are going on, we find the wrong outlets to try to fix whatever's going on with us. And I praise the Lord that you found running as a form of therapy to figure out, hey, I could run. It's like Forrest Gump. And I just started running.
Start running.
I just started running. Now, it says you went to MTSU. What did you get a degree in?
I got a degree in business entrepreneurship. I got a BSS in entrepreneurship from MTSU.
All righty. And it says you have a lovely wife and 3 beautiful children.
Yes, I've been married. With my 3rd-year anniversary is coming up, be March 12th. And so I've been married for almost 3 years to my lovely wife.
Congrats.
Yes, and I know on my Bible said 3. I really have 4 kids. I have 1 stepchild, but that's my son too.
Hey man, look here.
4.
We don't do that over here. We don't do that over here. We'll do that. Right. You got 4 children.
I got 4 children.
You have 4 children.
Mm-hmm.
Because we need to stop those type of things, the steps and all that. If we're married and you're mentoring these children and they look at you as a role model, I tell people all the time, when you're in the presence of a child, you're their father.
Yes, sir.
When you're in the presence, because you're impressionable, either you can make or break a child if you're in front of them, because all of us need a dad at some point in time. For years, I have been a fatherless father, but there are men in my life that when they come around, I look at them as male role models and father figures, and they don't even know it, and they make impressions on my life, even at 45 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So we all got to, at some point, take some responsibility for our communities and say, hey, young man, young woman, pull your pants up. Young lady, you don't need to be out here like that. Respect yourself, respect your parents, just general stuff that I think we as a society has strayed away from. It also says you have 4 grandbabies.
I have 4 grandbabies, yes.
How is the grandpa club? Because my daughter's pregnant right now, and it'll be my first grandchild.
Yes, I love it. I get the love on them, hug on them, send them back. But no, I'm just playing. No, I love my grandkids, and it's different, man. It's different, but it just makes you young all over again. So like, 'cause all mine, but my youngest is 18. So I'm out of the diapers and all that, but I'm right back. So it's like starting all over. So, but I love it.
Your youngest grandchild is 18?
No. I said my youngest.
Your youngest child is 18.
It's 18, right? So, but my grandkids is like starting all over again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You lucky. You lucky. I still got young babies I still got young babies. My youngest is 8 and my oldest is 29.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a jump. And I told my wife, I said, look, but she can't. She's older. You know, we're at that age where we're not trying to have any more babies.
Right.
We have 5 kids. It's a blended family, but I have 5 children. And I'm like, I told her a year or two ago, I said, one of my daughters, because I have 2 older daughters, a son and 2 younger daughters. I said, one of these children need to make me a grandbaby. I need a grandbaby. I can't have them. I don't want to have, I don't want to start over back at that point all over again, waking up every night and with that responsibility. And I'll do it for a grandchild because I can send them back. I can send them home. I can send them with their parents after I've loved on them and filled them up with candy and send them home, you know.
Buy them all the toys to make noise and send them with them.
Yes, sir. You already know. I'm sending them all and sending them with all the noisemakers, all of them. All righty. So, Mr. Fox.
Yes, sir.
So, it says that you grew up in East Nashville. We got through all of that. Maplewood. I drive a school bus out of Maplewood. That's the cluster that I drive out of. I drive Maplewood students in the morning, Tom Joy students in the afternoon, well, in the middle, and then I do Jerry Baxter Middle School. So those are the schools that I tell you what, God is good. When I got this job, they were like, we're going to send you way on the other side of town, or we're going to do this and we're going to do that. But thank God to my brother. Thank you, Bubba, for getting me close to home, because I live in Madison. So Maplewood is right down the street. So I don't even have to go that far in the morning to get my bus and get my kids and run my route and do my thing. But Mr. Fox, it says here that when you were 16 years old, you and a neighborhood friend robbed a gas station. Where was your mind at, and what was going on in your life that made you want to go and rob a gas station?
Well, during that time, I was lost, man. I was lost. My home was chaotic. I was dealing with depression. I just wasn't in my right mind for us thinking clearly or didn't think about consequences. I was trying to impress a girl, you know, just doing wild things. I mean, that was one of the wildest things I've done in my life.
Now, quick question. After you did that, did you get the coochie?
No. You say yes.
Well,
right.
I did. Hold on. I did when I was on house arrest.
Okay. Now, children, folks, people, we are not advocating doing crimes at all. We're not advocating that.
No.
We're not advocating crime. Okay. So you were lost. Your home life was really messed up. You were depressed, and you did this to impress a female. And did you wind up getting caught?
Yes, I did. I had to do a few months in juvenile. Then I was released on house arrest. I did a few months on house arrest. Then I had to go to Woodland Hills. It was a juvenile facility. I spent like 9 months there. Then I had to do a group home for a few months. But when I was locked up, I had the opportunity to get the credits that I needed in school when I was locked up. So when I came home, I had to go back to Maplewood for a half a credit. And I was supposed to graduate in 94, but I graduated in 95.
Okay. I mean, go ahead.
So some good did come out of that, you know, and that was my first and last time of doing something like that.
All righty. So we all have a similar story. There are a few elements that are different between all of us, but it seems like we all grew up in an environment that wasn't always the best environment for us. And it sounds like there were no strong male role models around at this time. Where was your father at?
Well, my stepdad had claimed me when I was 6 months, but it's kind of different when when your younger sister dad is in the picture, in the house, you know, and plus my parents was working two jobs, so we really didn't have that it was discipline in the house, but it wasn't no teaching, well, we had to do chores. It really wasn't that one-on-one thing was me and my stepdad, but I did learn a lot from him, because I remember him taking me on cleaning jobs with him, and so it was some things that I did learn from him,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
he passed last November, but I hold on to all the good memories we had together.
All right. Okay. Tony, did you have a role model in your life?
I did have my father, and he was in my life until later on, until I got older and like adulthood. And then there was a kind of falling out. But in my younger days, yeah, he was in my life. But my mom and my dad, they said they were never married and they separated at an early age, probably when I was like 5 or 6. But I did have a relationship with my father. So it wasn't until I was maybe a sophomore in high school, my mom married, and then I had a stepfather in my life. And he was very, very instrumental in, raising me and being there for me and whatnot. So at one point I had two good men at some point in my life. And like I said, until I had a father on my dad earlier, when I got older, whatnot. But my stepfather was always there since he came into my life when I was like a sophomore in high school.
Okay. Fox, it says that you have 5 children.
Yeah, I was heading down my biological dad path of being a Rolling Stone because I started early. I had my first kid at 16, and that was a cycle within itself that I had to understand and break too. Stop, stop having kids out of wedlock and with different women. And my last child, which she's 13 now, was in a marriage with her mother on 2 occasions, and it just didn't work.
Hey, things happen.
Yeah,
Things happen. And I always say they happen for a reason, and people are in your life for a season.
right.
It's
And
to
I
teach
learned
you a
a lot
lesson.
from, yes, I learned a lot from just being in her life for 14 years.
Right. So let's talk about how you came up with Breaking Cycles Foundation. Let's dive deep into how you came up with Breaking Cycles Foundation.
Well, that was part of my journey, and it was part of it's my purpose. That's what God put on my spirit to do, is to help people and creating a path to breaking generational cycles. Because a lot of people don't understand the cycles are handed down from generations. And in order for a person to really understand it, they have to self-evaluate themselves. You know, everybody's all about, you know, other people and what they're doing and what they're not doing, but take the time out to evaluate yourself first before you can start, putting yourself in the middle of anybody else's situation. And so I lived a life of growing up, having to understand the cycles on my mom's side and on my dad's side, which was not a part of my life at, at, at a young age. not up until I met Tony, where I was able to have that relationship with a few of my brothers and a few of my sisters. But it was a reason why, you know, God didn't have it where my biological father was in my life. And I've seen things from him that gave me the clarification of that, you know.
You saw
I'm not
things
trying
from who, Tony or your father, that gave you clarification?
yeah, from my father.
Okay. All right.
And I'm not trying to talk bad about him. I'm just speaking the truth of what I've
Stating
seen.
facts. State the facts, bro. Be honest, man. That's all we can be.
Yeah. You know, and just, you know, his ways, his manipulative ways. And I experienced manipulative ways myself growing up. And I had to come to the conclusion that I didn't want to be like that, you know. And that goes back from understanding how God made me, how 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 much I love people. I'm a people person, and so I chose not to be like that, you know. And when you dealing with depression and you've been in the dark and at your lowest point in life, you don't want to carry those negative traits. You don't want to carry those negative cycles because that's not what God created me to be. And I had to really understand that. And God gave me the clarification and understanding to be able to be the man that I am today.
And we thank God for that, man. We thank
Yes,
God.
sir.
We thank God for giving you the clarification and the understanding, because a lot of us, you know, a lot of people say, once I become 21 or once I become 25, I'm a man, or once I become this certain age, then I'm an adult. But the truth of the matter is there's still a lot of 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old children running around out here. They're still running around because they don't know their purpose and they don't know who they are, and they're not living by what God has given them, because God will give you all the answers you need. He will give you all the answers you need, but 9 times out of 10, we ignore them as humans. We ignore them. You know, my story is similar to you all's. My dad died in 12. When he died in 12, I met probably 10 of my siblings I'd never met.
Yeah. But we've been there.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I walk in, and that's how I figured out my sister was my sister and my brother was my brother, because my dad was dying. One of my other sisters that I knew that he had kind of connected us to along the way, she called me and she was like, "Bruh, daddy's dying. He's at the hospice on Charlotte." So I'm like, okay. I closed down the restaurant I'm working at the time and make my way to Charlotte to the hospice place. And I walk in, and as this lady sat on the bed, and I says, "Dee Dee, what you doing here?" Because Dee Dee's my friend from junior high school. I knew this girl from junior high school. You know, she had a little crush on me in junior high school. "Dee Dee, what you doing here?" "This my daddy." "This your daddy?" "This is my
Mm-hmm.
daddy." I'm glad it didn't go no further than a
Yeah.
high school crush.
Right.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it's the black family secrets that we are dealing with right now.
Right.
Yeah.
You understand?
And
I have a friend who just found out that the man that they thought this person is our age, and the person that they thought was their daddy is not their daddy.
yeah. And they probably went their whole life thinking that was their daddy.
And their mama took it to the grave.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They've thought that these whole 40 some odd years that this man was their daddy. Took a DNA test and it came back, this ain't even this person's daddy.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? These black family secrets are killing us, and we're trying to clean up here on the back end 40 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, our parents, they were great. They did all they could do in the moments and the times that they had to try to survive and try to make the best lives for us. But I had a conversation with my mom. I said, you were a wonderful mom. You taught me all the things that you needed to teach me. But on the other side of it, you also harmed me. You harmed me so much. And now in my 40s and being on the other side of God, being with God and being in my purpose, you hurt me. Mm-hmm. And God presented the opportunity for me to have this conversation with my mother and for her to be open ears and receive what I was saying to her. Cause see, like my story is I grew up in a household where the domestic violence was opposite. I watched my mother beat men my whole entire life.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Because of something that happened to her on an important day in her life. When she was 18 years old, graduating from high school, the man she was dating at the time beat the living hell out of her the night before she graduated. She had to get up with a black eye and a busted lip to go graduate. And at that point, she said, no man will ever put his hands on me ever again. And from that point on, she became the aggressor and she beat me in my whole entire life. Mm-hmm. And that's what I grew up watching. You know, a lot of people watch their dads beat on their mom and stuff like that. But that's what I watched. I watched my mom be the aggressor my whole entire life. And in a lot of ways, it's like I tell my wife now, I said, if you ever got to put your hands on me and I ever got to put your hands on you, we're done.
Yeah. It's time to speak. Yeah.
We can't be together no more. If we physically have to hit each other in an angry manner, I can't do this.
Right.
I can't do it. Mr. Morrell, talk to me about 413 Strong and tell me what that's initiative about and tell me how you brothers are going about mentoring men and helping them get on the right path.
Yeah. So, me and my brother, we mentor at 413 Strong, which is outside from like Foster Avenue, just for young men. What's the ages, Torn? Like 18 to 30?
Yeah.
About 18 to 30 that's been incarcerated or headed down the wrong path and they're trying to get their life back on track. So we go and mentor. We have what's called like a lunch and learn where we eat lunch with them. We can talk about our lives or this, like we just have open conversation. We can talk about anything or we can talk about a certain topic. So we're just trying to help them, get on the right path and just trying to instill confidence in them because, we all grew up in East Nashville in the hood or whatnot. We all had people tell us, we can't be this, we can't be that. Or, we just trying to be what we see, what we're used to, which is, rap songs, which is drugs, which is money, which is women, and sometimes it's easy to get down that wrong path. We easily look at what my brother did. I've never been arrested or in trouble or anything, but I've been around it. I could have easily kind of went down the wrong road. I think the only thing that kept me on their path is I played sports. When I say I love basketball, I love basketball. And I wasn't finna let nothing interfere with that. But, some young people make bad decisions or, they're just not handed a good card in life or they just grew up around and it's all they know. So we just trying to help to get them on the right track.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Mr. Fox, tell us about your organization and what you do. I know you have a cleaning service and then you have a foundation. What is the foundation doing to help the community in its aspect of what it is?
Well, right now, I'm still working on getting the board together because I really can't make no moves until I get that board in place. And I'm on it. I have a secretary and a vice president, and I'm going to be the president for the first 6 months. So I'm looking for a president intern and a treasurer and a social media person. But James Casey community is the first community that Breaking Cycles Foundation will be reaching out to. I'm already connected with Martha O'Brien Community Center because they've been over there for years. So Breaking Cycles Foundation will be working with them. that community is the first because I remember, you know, staying over my aunt's house over there when she used to live over there when I was younger. And they are renovating, tearing down the projects and building mixed income communities over there. And I found out that some of the residents who are getting to move in the mixed income community are getting put out because they're bringing those old cycles with them into this new beginning setting. My vision is to follow the construction to the next project community. I think we have like 2 or 3 left in the Nashville area. So I want to be able to follow the construction and be able to help those residents in the next community.
Yeah, I think it's Cheatham Place, University Court, J.C. Napier, and what's the ones on Herman Street? Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, about 3 or 4.
There's 4. It's if you don't put South Nashville together, because you got JCUC and then you got Cheatham Place and then you got Andrew Jackson. So if you look at by sets, because the ones on Charles Davis Boulevard, you know, people kind of combine them together, but there is 2 separate housing projects. So if you look at it in sections, yes, it's 4 housing projects left. I think it's amazing and I think it's wonderful because a lot of people in housing projects don't get an opportunity to clean their slates. And shouts out to Chaplain Miller over at Martha O'Brien, man. We did an interview with him a few weeks ago, man. That brother is amazing. Chaplain Miller, man. Do you already know who he is?
Yes, that's my connection at Martha O'Brien.
Man, that is a wonderful brother. I tell you what, he is a wonderful brother, and he is a ordinary man. To have a conversation with him, being a chaplain, of course I knew he was a chaplain going into the interview, but once I had the interview with him and we started talking, he was like an ordinary brother, but he understood that the anointing that God had put on his life was that as of what God put on his life, but he still understood the mission of, I'm a man. I put my pants on one leg at a time like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a question, my brothers. With where you guys come from and where God is taking you all, what do you see the urban outlook of Nashville in the next 5 years?
Overpopulated.
Yeah.
Overpopulated. That we already there. We're already at that point where we are overflowing with people. And I tell people every day, please come visit Broadway and go home. Just come and visit Broadway and go home. We don't need any more people. The neighborhoods I grew up in, I don't even recognize anymore.
At all. I grew up on Straightway, and it's maybe that whole street is maybe 6 or 7 houses that were still there when I grew up. The house I grew up in is knocked down, it's completely gone. So I can't even recognize my street.
Yeah. Ooh, you said Straightway, boy, that brought up some memories.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Man, that brought up some memories. Fox, where'd you grow up at?
Different places throughout East Nashville, but the last place I grew up on was Delmas off Gallatin Road.
Delmas. Okay, Delmas wasn't as bad as Lishit or as Straightway, but Delmas had its own little reputation because there was a few people over on Delmas, you know, that was, and then you walk across the street to Lytton Apartments.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you still had that going on up there in your neighborhood. Do what?
So I said the real Lytton Apartments.
The real Lytton Apartments. Look, in the comments, I'm going to say Straightway, man. Yeah, Straightway. Man, Straightway was about as bad as the bottom half of Alicia, man.
Yeah.
I tell you what, but it is amazing because a lot of the times I do interviews. Most of the people that I interview are not original Nashville natives. I've done a few, like I did from the projects to the pros, which it was the Riley Walton story. Shouts out to Riley Walton. He's in the comments, but he's a gentleman that grew up in West Nashville, went to TSU and made it all the way to the NFL and is still here in Tennessee and still doing wonderful, married for 35 years, worked for the sheriff department for 32 years. You understand what I'm saying? So there are still people here in Nashville that are doing wonderful, but it's like, how do we get these young men to understand, like I said at the beginning, how do we get them to understand that what they're going through right now it's not what's going to be going on in their lives in 5 years, not going to be going on in their lives in 10 years. How do we I was talking to my brother and I said, I was talking to this kid and I gave them some advice 3 to 5 months ago. And it's like it went in one ear and fell back down on the floor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's a different generation. I think like what me and my brother trying to do is trying to like give back and give advice to young people. Try to just take the example because we was in their shoes. We've been there and done that. I think when I say different generation, I think kind of when we were younger, we kind of listened to our OGs. We kind of listened to the older people, like as from a certain standpoint, a certain extent. Now, like this generation now, it's almost to the point where you can't even tell them nothing. And
that's my point. That was my point.
Yeah, but we just got to keep trying to reach out, just trying to give the best advice we can, and also be there when they choose not to listen and they still fall flat on their face and they have to get back up. Instead of really beating them down or like I told you so, you still got to be there for them because at some point in their life they're going to get to that point or something's going to happen or some kind of situation to, get their attention, whether that's jail, whether that's getting shot, whether that's something, we hope it's not to the point where they're not here anymore. But when they get to that point, we still have to be there with open arms and say, okay, let's start over. Let's regroup. Come on. And that's what part of 413 is, trying to give a clean slate to those who don't have any other option or their last resort or whatnot, but we try to be there for them.
Right. So what you're saying is when they fall, pick them up and dust them off. Go ahead, Mr. Fox.
Yeah. They also give opportunities to guys locked up with felons, with charges on probation. They giving young men, black young men and white young men, the opportunity at a second chance. I want to give a shout out to my mother because my mother, she's a strong black woman. She's my first queen. She's held me down. She instilled God in me. That's the best thing, the best present that anybody has given me. Because I took what she instilled in me and had to backtrack and finally build my relationship with God at a young age. And I'm just so blessed to have a strong mother who didn't spoil me. She gave me responsibilities. She instilled a lot into me, and she's one of the main persons in my life that has helped me to take a different road and to be the man that I am today.
Shouts out to all the strong mothers out there. Shouts out to all the strong mothers out there, because without a strong mother in a lot of our lives, a lot of us wouldn't be here to tell the stories today.
Definitely.
A lot of us wouldn't be here to have these conversations and tell these stories. So we've got a lot of the business out of the way. I got a few questions just to ask you guys on the backside of it. This goes out to both of y'all. Either way you want to answer, either person can go first. It does not matter, but I just got a few questions. Okay, so if I was to get in either one of you gentlemen's vehicles, what would be playing on the radio right now?
104.5 Titans Radio. I do have some XM channels, 92, 101, 97.1.
So you're just eclectic, but I'm talking about if we was to get in your vehicle right now, it'd be on Titans Radio.
Yeah, most definitely.
Tony, what would be playing if we got in your car right now, what would be playing on the radio?
Easy for me. Either Jeezy or Gucci, one of the two.
It's the snowman. That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay. So here's the next question. What are you gentlemen's guilty pleasure?
Mm.
I already know mine. Man, I run, I run marathon so I can eat what I want to. Man, I'm just a sweet addictive. Anything, Reese's, Hershey's, all that. That's me.
All right.
I got a sweet tooth.
Mr. Fox.
Guilty pleasure. I would say sweets too, but I've cut back a whole lot on the sweet.
All right. So if you could have the perfect job, what would it be?
The perfect job. Besides the perfect job I have now, I would say have my own business also. Probably have my own business.
But give me an example. What would you go into business? Are you a cooker? Are you a painter? Are you a mechanic? Where would you land at?
I would probably land like a stylist. I like clothes. I like to dress up. And when I say stylist, I'm talking about like dress up like suits and stuff.
Okay, yeah. Like a clothing stylist, like you would style some. Yeah. Fox, what would that be for you?
Well, I'm already in business, but business is my life, is my future. So I'm just 2 years. I'm in my third year in business, and I plan on creating more once I'm able to finish laying the foundation for this first one. So multiple businesses.
So here's the thing. They say if you love what you're doing, you never work a day in your life. Do you guys agree?
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
So you guys feel like you're not really working because this is what you love doing, what you're doing right now.
That's true for me. It's 100% true for me.
All righty. So another question. It's going to throw you for a loop.
Okay.
Describe your perfect boo.
My wife gonna listen. My wife.
Wonderful answer.
Let me stay out of the
Wonderful answer.
Let me say I gotta go home.
Wonderful answer. Fox.
We can be on one accord with each other. We can, build a legacy together where she can play a part in my purpose and I can play a part in her.
Another wonderful answer, my brother. That is, because most of the time when you ask a man about what his perfect woman looks like, 9 times out of 10, it's measurements.
Yeah.
It's measurements. 9 times out of 10, it's measurements. 24, 36, 24, 36.
The measurements get you in trouble too.
Exactly. The measurements have nothing to do with her moral compass.
That's right.
It has. Go ahead.
We might have things that we like, that we want, but God is not going to necessarily send you what you want.
Nah, I can testify to that, my brother. He didn't send me what I wanted. He sent me what I needed. And when I tell you, my life has been amazing. Like my anniversary is tomorrow. Tomorrow.
How many years?
We've been married since 2021.
Okay.
2021. And I've got to walk on eggshells tomorrow because I'm just going to give you a bit of, and it's not like that. I'm going to give you the reason why I got to walk on eggshells tomorrow, because tomorrow makes 1 year that on my anniversary, I flipped a garbage truck.
Oh man.
1 year ago tomorrow, I was working for a garbage company, and they begged us to come out and do trash because they were trying to win a contract. And it was still icy, and there was black ice on the road. And I hit a patch of black ice on Bradley Parkway, and I flipped the trash truck. By the grace of God and a seatbelt.
Was that over there by Skyline?
No, I was at Gallatin Road and Bradley Parkway.
Okay.
Last year, January 22nd.
I think I was working, and I think I heard that.
It was a small, it wasn't a big one, it was a small one.
Yeah, it's a small one. Okay.
That was me. I flipped a small, so I gotta get up tomorrow and pray and pray and get on this bus and put on my seatbelt and drive really, really slow and get these kids to school and get them home from school and get home to my wife.
Right.
Because it'll be 1 year anniversary. So here's the thing. We talked about young people. We talked about you guys' past and where you came from and where you're at now. If you could give a heartfelt message to a young man who's going through something right now, and he thinks that the situation that he's in right now is his forever and beyond, what would you tell him?
I can go first. First thing I would tell him is he is good enough. I think that's not expressed enough to our young men, because, mentally when you're going through things, that devil got a way of making you think you the dumbest person in the world. You by yourself. You're nothing. Those voices in your head get to going. And I think that leads to kind of impulse decisions of making negative decisions or going the wrong way down the right path. So the one thing that I always tell people or say, this is my little saying that I stole from something. I tell young people, I say, true desire in the heart for anything good is proof sent beforehand to indicate that it's yours already. And you have to hold on to that and just know that whatever you're going through right now doesn't mean you're going to go through that your whole life. Just like we talked about, you made that point. And that's what I try to express to young people.
Mm-hmm. What I would express is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. With that scripture being said, I would tell any young man, make that choice. Make that choice. Do you want good or bad in your life? You got to make that choice. You got to build that relationship with God, because He is the one that's going to show you the way to walk on this earth. Nobody else can do that better than Him. And I'm saying this because I can testify to this. He brought me out of the darkness when I was at my lowest. And I haven't looked back since. And that's why I'm the man I am today. He brought me out of the storm. He'll bring you out of the storm. He'll bring anybody out of the storm, but they gotta want it. You gotta want that relationship with God. And we're not perfect. He knows that. But he wants to see our effort. He wants to see our drive. He wants to see our strength.
Amen. And in the comments, Dave said, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Choose life. And that's exactly what you said. You got to choose life. And I feel like so many people out here are not choosing life. They're choosing the moment. We have become such a microwave culture. I want it right now. 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 And wanting it right now and not thinking about tomorrow is not going to get you anywhere, because whatever you, like I keep reiterating, whatever you're going through in the moment right now is not your forever. It's not your tomorrow. It's not your 10 years from now. It's not your 20 years from now. And if God blesses you to live it's going to change. That's the only thing that's promised to us in this world, that something's going to change. Something's going to change.
But we all have to put in that effort. You know, we got to make choices. We got to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
And some people don't know how to do that. You know, and God can only do so much in the spiritual form, but us as physical beings, we have to put in the work.
What did it say? What the word say? Faith without
Faith
work
without works is dead.
is dead. It's dead. But here's the thing. I'd like to say thank you to both of you brothers for coming on here and sharing your experiences with life and sharing what you've been through, because here at the Kickback, our goal is to help and save and get one brother out the dark, because your story may be the story that helps a brother get out of the dark and understand that where he is right now and where he's going is not the same place. It's not the same place. And if young men understand that, hey, your emotions matter, your feelings matter, what you're going through matters, just to sit down and have a conversation, and you'll never know what that brother in a suit's been through until you talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the time they'll look at us, old head, unk, pops, whatever, whatever acronym they want to put on you in that moment. You don't know what's going on out here in these streets. You don't know what life is like for me out here. You don't know what's going on. It's hard. Okay, but I grew up in the projects. I sold drugs when I was younger. I ran from the police. I've been in a shootout.
Yeah.
But the person you see right now don't look like none of that. And I thank God that I don't look like any of the things that I've been through.
And why is that? Because you embrace change.
Yes, sir.
Right? I embrace change. So that's part of growing. That's part of getting yourself out of what you grew up in. You got to want to embrace change and make the right decisions. Right.
Amen to that, my brother. Amen to that. But I like what was said here. It says, that's where a friend and a brother steps into jumpstart another soul. And that's what we do here at the Kickback, is we're trying to jumpstart other souls. We're trying to get the message out that you as a fireman didn't come from Ivy League or Brentwood or Donaldson or something like that. No, you came from out east, and you spent 20 years being a firefighter, and now you're a chief. Shouts out to you. Fox, you grew up out east, but now you're 3 years into your business and you're starting a nonprofit organization that's going to bring back to the community. But you didn't start out way out Noseville Road in Antioch, or you didn't start out in Westmead. We didn't start out nowhere. We all came from the same soil. We ate the same dirt. We played at the same playgrounds.
Yep.
But God instilled something in our parents that instilled something into us. Now, it may not always been the best,
right,
but we're here to tell the story.
All right.
And I thank God for the opportunity to meet you two brothers and have a conversation. Now, at the end of, we're about to end the show here in a few minutes, and I always extend an opportunity for you to come on the Friday show and just hang out, whether you just stop in and say, hey, fellas, what's going on? How y'all doing? Listen to the conversation. Come in and text. Do whatever you want to do. But every Friday at 6 p.m., we host a Freestyle Friday where we have open conversations about life, love, mental health, children. Black Family Secrets is what's going to be the topic for this Friday. I usually don't do a topic, but this is something that's weighing heavy on my heart because there's been a lot of situations that have come up in my life. And I think I need a panel of brothers, and we need to talk about some of these Black Family Secrets, because right now it's hurting us.
All right. Mm-hmm.
It's hurting us. It's hurting us. It's hurting the community because we are finding out things like y'all found out y'all was brothers. How old were y'all when y'all found out y'all were brothers?
Oh, it was about 15.
Well, well, when we was younger and we would see each other out, my mom would be like, "There go your brother," and it wasn't a big deal at that time. But when we got older, that's when it started hitting me, because I used to have dreams about my brothers and sisters that wasn't in my life. But, you know, everything happened during this time.
Mm-hmm.
But we came to really know each other in 2009. That's when we had the blood DNA test done, and every chromosome came back the exact chromosome, the same.
But how old were y'all in 2009 when y'all did this DNA test?
2000, like 15 years ago. So what, 31?
So for 30 years, these people held on to this secret. 30
So
years.
can I get this short story real quick?
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So like I said, we both grew up in East Nashville. I played basketball for Shrive. He used to come to my games. I never knew of him. One day, I think it was what, Catch Records on Guys Road. It used to be Catch Records.
Yes, sir.
His mother approached me and said, "Hey, do you know who this person is?" I said, "No, ma'am." She said, "This is your brother." I said, "Okay." I was confused. I didn't, cause I didn't know who he was. But at this time, like our real dad, I had a relationship with our real dad. So I called him. I said, "Hey, this lady got this kid named Antuan." I said, "That's my brother. Is that my brother?" And at that time, he's like, "No, that's not my brother. She's just crazy. He's making it up." I dropped it because I had no reason not to believe my father. I dropped it. So I just left it alone. Well, like I said, it's 9 of us. Growing up, I knew it was me, an older sister, and a brother. So I started out with this thing that was 3 of us. So when I was 14, I met another sister. So now it's 4 of us. So at my dad's 50th birthday party, I was 24 years old. I was a grown man at my father's 50th birthday party. And I sat down with 4 other people at this table that I'd never seen in my life. And one of my aunties came over and said, "Do you know who these people is?" I said, "No." I said, "No, I don't. Who are they?" They ended up my brothers and sisters. So it went from 4 to 8, and I didn't meet 4 of them and didn't even know they existed until I was 24 years old. I'm a grown man. So once in North Carolina, before I met my brother in North Carolina, my oldest sister had a siblings, I'm air quoting, a siblings reunion, and all 8 of us went to North Carolina and had a sibling reunion. And it was the first time that all 8 of us was in the same room at the same time. So we had to kind of get to know each other. So 2 of my older sisters, we was up, it's like 3 or 4 in the morning. We kind of had something to drink. We were just talking about, hey, let's find out if there's some more, do we have any more brothers and sisters? Because we don't want our kids to meet our nieces and nephews and then they get together and they brothers and sisters, almost like how you did.
I got you.
So at 3, 4 in the morning, this is when I said, "Hey, wait a minute." I remember this lady came to me and said, "Hey, I got a brother." So they was like, "Hey, you have to find him." So when I came back to Nashville, kind of got on Facebook and I was like, "Hey, I know this sounds crazy, but I'm kind of looking for my brother." And as soon as I pushed enter, 5 minutes later, a young lady that I went to school with that knew Twan hit me on Facebook. She's like, "Hey, I know your brother. He talk about you all the time." I said, "Hey, give him his number and tell him to call me." And Twan called me, and that's how I got to know my brother.
It ain't funny, but it's funny.
I know.
It ain't funny, but it's funny, man. It's like my dad died and all these people showed up and I'm like, who is this person? And who is that? And who is that? Because I'd only, like you, I'd only met 4 of my siblings. And I made number 5. Now it's 16 of us. So so it's still 10 of them I don't even know.
All right. Mm-hmm.
And then this man dies. And all of a sudden, one sister makes a phone call to another sister, and another sister makes a phone call because they know the other sister, and another sister makes a phone call to another sister, and then all these people show up at his funeral, and then all of their mamas show up at the funeral, and my mama comes with me, and I'm like, oh my God. This man here. But that's what I said. Black Family Secrets, man. It is killing us right now because we're having to unfold all the stuff that these people have taken to their graves. We're having to unfold all the stuff that these people are taking to their graves and finding out here years later that, this person is so-and-so and this person is so-and-so. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I know y'all got to go. I got to go. I thank you again for being here. Like I said, Friday, Freestyle Fridays. Mr. Tony, Mr. Antonio, I love you, brothers. Y'all keep doing what you're doing, man.
I love you too, bro.
Stay positive. If you see a young brother, show him some love.
Yes, sir.
Keep him out the streets, man. We got to protect. We've got to protect our youth.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, sir. You guys have a great night, and hopefully I'll hear from you guys on Friday.
All right. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome, sir. All righty.
All right.
The Kickback, the place for brothers. Yeah.
Dope.
The Kickback,
That was dope.
a place for brothers.
Yes, sir.
The Kickback, a place for brothers. 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 The Kickback, a place for the Kickback, a place for brothers. The Kickback, a place for brothers. The Kickback, a place for brothers.